All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I think we are everyone who is counted for. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Christopher Wickman. I am, for those of you who don't know me, I'm on the Ingham County Board of Directors. I'm going to be a liaison under Ms. Lake, who is present via video for her presidency starting in 10 days or so, something like that. So I will be doing this Deliberations with the Judicial Candidate series. The ICBA, the Ingham County Bar Association, is a voluntary organization that tries to set up educational and social aspects for members of our bar and aspiring members of our bar or legal secretaries and things like that. This is something we're providing to hopefully provide more information to voters on Ingham County elections by hosting judicial candidates. We don't take any position with regards to any particular office. All the candidates for office have been contacted to see if they'd like to participate. They'll be all given an opportunity, whether they're contested or not, whether they're an incumbent or not. So first and foremost in this series, we are proud to have Ms. Morgan Cole here. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. After her introductions, we'll open up to questions from everyone. If you don't feel comfortable asking your question yourself or would like me to ask it, feel free to put that in the chat box and we can go from there. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Morgan Cole. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chris. Can everyone hear me? We're good. All right.
Yes.
So thank you all for being here on Monday at 5:30. Yes, so my name is Morgan Cole, and I'm currently running for the Circuit Court Judge position. And this is the regular non-incumbent position that expires on January 1st of 2027. The seat is currently held by the Honorable Judge Janelle Lawless, and she will be retiring. So it is a contested race, and it is only for the November election. I think there was confusion throughout the community due to issues with COVID and the new dichotomy that is 2020 for us as to how this race is proceeding. So this is actually for the November election. There is no primary. So I currently serve our community as your probate register and probate court administrator in Ingham County. I live in Meridian Township with my husband and my 3 children. It is critically important that our next circuit court judge understands how our judicial system affects children and families. I assure you that I do. I have and continue to serve the children and families of Ingham County in a court or quasi-judicial role, whether it be as a law clerk to the Honorable Rosemary E. Aquilina, friend of the court conciliator, who I believe they are now called facilitators, ever-changing in front of the court, the Chief Deputy Circuit Court Clerk for the Ingham County Clerk Barb Byram, and currently as your probate register appointed by the Chief Circuit and Probate Judge Richard J. Garcia. While you might find us on the bottom of the ballot, this might be the most important decision you can make in November. Your local circuit court, specifically the family division, has the potential to have a huge impact on your life, your client's life, and your family. A circuit court judge can bring a child into your home through adoption and remove a child in a neglect case. A circuit court judge decides custody, parenting time, child support, and can terminate parental rights. The court is there to intervene when a youth engages in high-risk behavior. The court is also there to protect survivors of domestic violence. The judge has great discretion over the lives of our children and families. The court wades through difficult issues when people are the most vulnerable in crises. What we need is someone with both legal and life experiences who can make these difficult decisions with common sense and compassion. This is not for the faint of heart, and it takes a lot of energy and patience. Raising 3 young children myself, test my patience daily, sometimes hourly, trust me. Anyone knows that parenthood is a struggle, no matter how you got to parenthood. I am dedicated to protecting our children, as I would my own. While sometimes that requires separating families, reunification must be the initial goal. We know the outcomes for children are better when we preserve our families. I believe the treatment of youth is important to avoid the school to prison pipeline. Early involvement and rehabilitation is key. I know that protracted litigation in divorces and custody cases hurts children. We must intervene when a household is ravaged by domestic violence or crippled by addiction. These are my priorities. I believe that being your next circuit court judge is a natural progression in my career of public service. Many of us have already worked together on these issues. I am dedicated to listening carefully, treating people with respect, and working hard every day for you, your children, and your clients. I would appreciate your support as I move forward in putting our children and families first. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cole. We're going to go ahead and open it up to questions from attendees at this time. Like I said, if you feel comfortable, feel free to either raise your hand or briefly speak up with regards to that. There is a question that I will go ahead and read as it was messaged to me privately. If you had an opportunity to transfer to a general trial docket, would you?
Well, ultimately, it's the Chief Judge's decision as to what our needs are within our community. If those were the needs, certainly, I would transfer as I was directed. You have to be able to do that as a judge and as a leader in the community. But I fully am invested in family court. It's the most rewarding experience of my entire legal career. I think we make the biggest difference. But certainly, if that was the need and I was directed to do so, I would.
Thank you. If anyone has questions, we have done the introduction, so if anyone has questions, either feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself and speak up, or you can private message me with any private questions that you may have as well.
What made you decide to run for circuit court judge at this time?
I've always wanted, thank you, Ms. Blake, I've always wanted to be a judge. The majority of my career has been with the court and has been my passion. And so I've made it widely known that I have always wanted to go after this. Quite frankly, I think the fact that we didn't have a race was probably one of the biggest issues for me in making the leap to go now. I think that it is imperative that our citizens here in Ingham County have the right to decide and the option to decide who they want to select for the seat. So I made the leap and I'm going for it. And I'll do it 8 times over because I truly believe that it's where my heart is and has been. Thank you.
Ms. Mills.
Thank you. Ms. Cole, can you please tell us what sets you apart from those who are also going to be on the ballot with you, for whom you are competing with this position?
I think the biggest thing to set me apart is my experience and my judicial experience. I've served this county in a judicial role, whether it be at front of the court, again, as a law clerk for Judge Aquilina, and as the probate register. I take the bench every week. I hear probably between 150 to 200 cases a month as probate register. That experience and qualifications, I think, sets myself apart, and specifically dealing with child welfare issues. I deal with minor guardianships. I deal with issues involving the best interest of the child. Currently, and in the past, I did divorce matters, child support, etc. And so I think that's what sets me apart. But I also think it's very important that I stress this. There's so much division going on in our community currently that I don't think we could have a better list of individuals to have people select from. And we need to do it in a manner that shows the dedication, the respect for the bench. And I really, truly believe that each candidate is committed to that. And I hope that they will stay committed to that so that we can best serve as lawyers in the community, Ingham County.
Thank you.
We did have another question come in via chat. Is how do you feel about conducting hearings via Zoom?
Great question. It can be difficult. I can see it from a trial aspect. It's very difficult, especially if you have voir dire, you're wanting to read the individuals, or even evidentiary hearings where you want to read the body language of witnesses and etc. But I think that our Supreme Court had enough forethought to have this option for us. And it was a great option to be able to have the court systems flow and continue to serve. It's also a wonderful aspect for public access. We have individuals who are vulnerable individuals, maybe individuals who don't have access to transportation, etc. So I think it broadens the range of public access of the courts, which is huge. There are limitations, but hopefully we can work through those, and hopefully we can see the bigger picture, which is we're a court for the people and what the people need. And so I think it's positive. That is when you have internet. There was no internet today, so that was very difficult.
Further questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can always message me or ask in the chat and I will ask for you. I am not hearing any or seeing any at this time, Morgan. Did you have any ideas that you wanted to bring uniquely to the position that haven't been put in place, or options that you wanted to explore from other courts or judges?
I think that Ingham County and our bench does a fantastic job. I think there's always room for growth and for learning and how to do things better, especially as the needs of the people change. And so I think we need to look at different avenues of incorporating our children from all areas of our county together. I think if we start at that level, we make a difference with our kids. And so, for example, pairing children in different school districts so that they can talk via Zoom, so they can learn their experiences with each other and have that connection throughout our community. I think we need to focus on that and really, really drive that home. And I think that helps with dealing with issues that are currently in the forefront of our community. So I would like to work with school districts and school superintendents on how we can have our children engage with one another at a very young age. And so they can learn from one another, have a friend that maybe isn't down the street. Maybe they have a friend that's now in East Lansing while they're in Stockbridge. But it's important to do that and to do it early. And so I hope to do that. And I hope to continue putting our kids first, which our judges have done and continue to do.
All right, we do have a couple questions that have come in. First is, you said there won't be a primary, so all 5 or 6 people will be on the ballot, question mark?
7 people will be on the general ballot, correct?
And there is another question is, have you participated in CLE and how frequently?
So I guess the question would be, what type of CLE? So in Washington, D.C., we have more of a formal continuing legal education that we're required to do versus in Michigan. But I have attended different trainings. We have different trainings in the court systems as well on how to improve updates in the law, et cetera. And so it's constant. And in administration, it's constant between scale, the guidance that we get there, and the classes that we take as well. So there is a continuing legal education. I can tell you it has been a whole different purview now with COVID. Administration and COVID have apparently been best friends, very best friends. So yes, I participate in continuing legal education in various forms.
All right, additional questions from those in attendance? I am not seeing none. Morgan, would you mind if I asked you another question?
Of course not.
Okay. What do you think the biggest transition would be from your current position to the judiciary?
not being actively engaged in administration as much as I am now. You have to take kind of a cursory role, and I'm sure Judge Dunnings is exactly what I mean, but you have to remove your administrator hat and strictly to the bench. And so I think that will probably be the biggest change, but change is good. It's very, very good. I think that will definitely be it. And I'll miss seeing the staff every day in the morning, although I'll probably come in and say hi anyway. So I think that will be the biggest change.
Further questions? We'll ask one more, and then if no one else has anything or you don't have anything to add, we can go from there. But what, if elected, what are you looking forward to the most about being a member of the judiciary?
Being a person to help families in crisis, and to let people realize that if possible, they can make these decisions on their own. I mean, at front of the court, you'd have people come before me and they're angry. They're so angry, and they're doing one thing or the other. What they fail to realize is you can't be angry without pain. And they never take a step back to realize they're in pain and how they can help one another instead of going against one another. And nothing is more fulfilling than knowing that the outcome for the child is to have those two parents work together and to both be at their soccer game without animosity. And so for me, it is helping people get to a place of grace, whatever that may be for the parties, but that's it, getting to a place of grace. And we've all been there, and it takes a village to raise a child. That's very, very true. So that's what I'm most looking forward to, is helping people. I mean, I'm an attorney, but I guess they call us the counselor at law for that as well. But I think that's the best outcome, is to make those children have peace, whatever that may be.
Thank you. We had another question come in. Are you a member of any legal organizations besides the ICBA?
So I'm a member of the DC Bar. I am been a part of the My File Committee with the State Court Administrator's Office. I'm a member of the Michigan Probate and Juvenile Registrars Association, the Ingham County Bar, and I feel like I'm forgetting 2 or 3, but those are the ones that are right off my top of my head. So,
What non-legal organizations do you participate in?
So I have been involved with Junior League. I've been on the parent-child board for the Sparrow Child Care Committee. I've been a member of Pi Beta Kappa. And then I also work with different women's groups in crisis needs. For example, miscarriages, and helping women talk to those and kind of being a mentor in that aspect.
Does anyone have any further questions for Ms. Cole? Or Ms. Cole, do you have anything to add to kind of what we've already discussed? All right. I am not seeing any other questions at this time. Obviously, feel free to contact Ms. Cole directly. We've offered this opportunity, as I said, to incumbents and non-incumbents, contested and uncontested. If there's continuing interest from our association, we'll also explore potentially allowing people to come back for a second bite at the apple. I do appreciate Ms. Cole for being our first participant for this. And if you have any concerns, questions, anything like that, feel free to contact me. I think everyone here should have that ability to do so. Thank you again, Ms. Cole, for your participation, and everyone for their attendance tonight. If there's nothing further, I will go ahead and stop the recording, and everyone might leave when they're ready to do so.
Thank you, Chris.